All right, boom. So this is gonna be Charlemagne the God, man. Looks like his contract wasn't renewed for next year with iHeart. What's going on? I also heard that the Breakfast Club might be shutting down. What's going on? Free the brick, but not yet for sure. But let's throw that in there, man. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man. So Charlotte, his contract was not renewed with iHeart. So yeah, man. It what's crazy is like you seeing this, right? But like, okay, Ebro just got fired. Same thing with Rosenberg, like the New York radio stations, man. What's going on? Because they letting people go for these holidays. I don't know, man. What's going on? But bam. So we'll get into this clip from the stop. I think it's the stop, right? Yeah, stop. Yeah, the stop, man. Go check out the stop, man. He got a lot of good New York podcast content like Joe Budden stuff, like radio. He covers a lot of the different Joe Budden universe type shit. Um, but yeah, man. So we'll get into this. Like I said, Charlemagne the God contract was not renewed for 2026. Who knows what's going on over the Breakfast Club? So let's get into this, man. Follow me on Kick, Twitch, Discord, IG, TikTok, Hype, share, hit that notification bell so I know y'all there so I can throw it to us in there. Let's go.
Up with iHeart. Do you plan to renew?
You know what's so interesting about 2020? That it was COVID, right? And so being that it was COVID, like everybody that I reached out to said yes to the Black Effect Podcast Network, and that's why we were able to launch with 20 plus, 20 plus different podcasts. But that's crazy. You knew that.
I was gonna say, how do you know this?
So I don't think you answered my question.
Yeah, we call that the weave. You know, I learned.
The bob and weave.
Yeah, saw Donald Trump say that on Flagrant. The weave.
Why not?
I don't like to talk business. It's not the place to talk business.
Yeah, I mean,
Charlemagne avoids answering if his contract is up. For those of you that don't know, Charlemagne signed a deal with iHeart in 2020. Now, the deal was apparently 5 years, and he signed it in December. So it's December 2025, 5 years later. And he was asked a question, and he ducked and dodged, refused to answer it. He was looking at the crowd and the person who asked it like they were stupid for even asking the questions, which is a disrespect. You should have answered the questions. How many times have you asked a question somebody didn't want to answer and they had to answer it or find a way to answer it? So to me, him looking so miffed and moffed, I think contract negotiations may not be going how he wants. Plus, he also said something interesting. He said around the time of 2020, when the Black Effect Network was launched, it was the pandemic. So everybody wanted to sign with him. Everybody's check was gone. People didn't know where their money was coming. So all of these little podcasts or small podcasts or big podcasts, podcasters independent or podcasters that had big shows that were starting a new IP, they would go to Charlemagne and say, all right, I'm down to sign. But Charlemagne's saying that's not the case anymore. Never mind how the need to know breakup covers this whole situation. I know you guys say, what? Need to know, Danny? What's that about? Well, Savon said something interesting. He said the need to know was banking on DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion ads. And when Trump got into office, the funding for those types of initiatives that these companies like McDonald's was gone. So they no longer were shutting out money for these DEI ads because it's essentially, you can't even mention diversity, inclusion, equity anymore because of the Trump administration. So now those companies are not buying those ads, these overinflated ads, right? These guys, think of it as, let's say I give somebody $30,000 and I'm like, yo, spend the money. I don't care how much you spend it. I got this grant. I don't give a damn. Do you? It doesn't matter. That is money you're counting on. But then one year, I'm like, actually, I don't got the $30,000 figured it out. So for the last few years, you've been counting on those $30,000, but it's not there anymore. And a lot of these podcasts, specifically those from the DEI batch, which the Black Effect Network was essentially designed to profit off of, they knew that they would be getting money from these DEI initiatives. That's no longer there. So the Black Effect Network is in a tough spot. And so is Charlemagne, because if he resigns, will he just be the host of the Breakfast Club, but not be atop the Black Effect Network anymore? And you will see his podcast initiative essentially flounder. Because I'm telling you, over the last few years, I've been wondering on my channel, how the hell does Mandy B get to talk about all these ad deals and essentially nobody listens to her show? She had Period Sis. Then I think there was another show. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense. She was getting ads from companies who were paying to have ads essentially listen to nobody. But because they had the DEI funding, they were like, oh, just book it. Same with Need to Know. How did they get all this money for ads, but nobody was listening to them? Essentially, I was doing podcasts that were getting more views than them, but nobody would entertain an ad with me to the levels that they were, because those companies saw them as DEI investments. And I know a lot of you this is real nerdy, Danny. I don't know what's going on. What I'm saying is the type of spot that Charlemagne is in 2025 is a lot different than in 2020. And could this be what Joe Budden and Ian Schwartzman was alluding to when he said there's a mass exodus coming? Because a lot of the podcasters in this field are tied to the Black Effect. And if Charlemagne goes down, which it looks like he's not going to go down, I'm just saying that if Charlemagne loses the Black Effect, can no longer look out for other podcasters, i.e. Mandy, i.e. These other shows that he's launched, Lauren LaRosa, all those shows are gone. They're going to leave, because none of those shows, I think, really can exist unless they have companies giving them money for no reason, which was what DEI funding was. Now, I'm not saying those DEI initiatives weren't needed. I don't want that to get misconstrued. What I'm saying is that there was just a budget there that these companies had to expense. And when that budget was cut, the value of a Black Effect Network may have been cut at the kneecaps. And I just want to say, I want to champion this lady for asking this question. And it goes to show you the power of just asking a question. You might get an answer that the person doesn't want to give you. You might get them saying, nah, I don't want to talk about it. And what I love about this is I feel like when she asked the question, it doesn't get looked at as pocket watching. But if somebody else asks it, it's like, oh, why are you pocket watching? No, we need to know. Charlemagne was the first one to tell you when he had a deal. So now that he may not have a deal, he's like, I don't want to talk about business. Well, when you were signing these deals, there was a variety piece. There was a vulture piece. You were on Charlemagne trying to act like you was a better businessman than Joe Budden. But now all of a sudden it's like, oh, man, I want to talk about business. You talk about everybody else's business, Charlemagne. You said Joe Budden don't know how to properly negotiate. Do you know how to properly negotiate? Well, I guess we're going to find out. And we're going to see. As Clifford Harris, a.k.a. T.I., once said, we can end the speculation because today we going to see. And Mandy, you better count your damn days. Mandy B! Oh, you was talking all that hotness. I got a multi-million-dollar, six-figure deal, whatever you was saying. And now, if Charlemagne doesn't get that Black Effect deal, selective ignorance, selective viewership, you probably not going to even do that pod. Who's going to pay for the studio? They're broadcasting out of iHeart. We're watching. We're watching. You was talking like you was the Bill Simmons of podcasting for women, and it looks like those views are quite paltry. And I only bring that up because she is a case study of exactly what I'm saying. Time will tell, and sooner or later, we'll all see who the prophet is. All right, y'all. Follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. Make sure you follow Patreon, because who knows if he's going to be on iHeart in 2026. That's another thing, man. The ratings for the Breakfast Club in New York City aren't that high. Many people bring up the YouTube, but I can tell you that these radio companies, what they prioritize is the radio ratings. If you dominate the radio ratings and you're not that great on YouTube, you're way more valuable to iHeart, because the radio ratings is what brings in the ad money, and the ad money gets multiplied throughout all of the stations that they do. So do the science. Last month, iHeart's Breakfast Club, Power 105, lost to Hot 97, 4.3 to 3.1 in the radio ratings. That's right. Hot 97 has a 4.3 market share. iHeart has a 3.1 market share. And the gap is only widening while Hot 97 gets rid of people. You don't think that's crazy? All right, this was a nerdy video, but this is Danny from The Stop. Peace.
YouTube, chicks. Get ready.
You know what to do, chicks.
So listen, Chick Smooth. Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Oh man, you guys, is this the end of the road for Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club? With all the major shakeups happening all around media, we just saw Ebro and Rosenberg lose their morning show at Hot 97. We're also seeing tons of podcasts call it quits this year. Is this the change that everybody has been talking about and alluding to? Now, if you guys don't know, back in 2020, Charlemagne renewed his contract with iHeartMedia for 5 years. Not only did Charlemagne extend his contract for the Breakfast Club, but he also partnered with iHeart to launch his podcast network, the Black Effect Network. Now, 5 years later, credit to Charlemagne, the network is actually doing very well. They've managed to sign a lot of top urban podcasts like 85 South Show with DC Young Fly. They also signed all the Smoke Podcast, Poor Minds Podcast, The Read Podcast, Big Facts Podcast, and a host of other podcasts. Now, back in 2020, Charlemagne addressed the reason why he resigned with iHeart and also the reason why he partnered with iHeart for the network.
Over the past 7 years, the Breakfast Club, we've become partners with iHeart because we are nationally syndicated, and I've enjoyed the partnership with iHeart, but life is all about constant evolution and constant change. The Breakfast Club has been inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame. Drop on the clue bombs for us, damn it. All right, we in the hall already. As my man Humble the Poet said, this feels both too early and right on time, but it is what it is. We have solidified our place in the culture, okay? And we continue to move culture forward in various ways. But it's time to evolve, more like time to expand. So I started thinking to myself, what's better than a show that moves culture?
OnlyFans.
Man, shut up.
You really want to see something.
That's what Breakfast Club does. We move culture, but it's one show. But with this one show, we're able to give multiple voices a platform. But for the last couple of years, I kept thinking, what if there was a network where a lot of my favorite Black voices could be heard? That would be something, right? Not just one show that moves culture, but a network. Well, after a year and some change of plotting and planning and working and negotiating, I am proud to announce a further partnership with iHeartMedia to launch what I am calling the Black Effect Podcast Network. Drop on the clues bombs for that, damn it. Podcasts are the future of this audio business. I listen to the podcast more than radio nowadays, but they still go hand in hand. So because of this platform, all right, I'm able to partner with iHeart and create what is positioned to be the world's largest podcast publisher dedicated to Black listeners, curated by me. All right, Leonard McKelvey, Charlemagne the God. Now, the Black Effect Podcast Network will reflect a lot of my various interests, okay, from social justice to politics to mental health and mindfulness, comedy, sports, whatever my talented partners choose to discuss, okay? Now, this fall, we are launching, know in this business. Oh, it's just know in this business, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate, okay? Thank you, iHeartRadio, for being my partners. Let's continue to move culture forward. Black Effect Podcast Network launching this fall.
Well, 5 years later, the contract is up with iHeart, and the question everybody wants to know, will Charlemagne resign with iHeart? Is he going to extend his contract for the Breakfast Club, but take the podcast network somewhere else? Especially right now, seeing the boom in podcasting, and you guys already know who I'm talking about, Netflix. If you got a top podcast, these guys are giving out major bags for it. So imagine somebody like Netflix signing a major podcast network like Black Effect Network and having the rights to all these top Black podcasts on their network. Now, of course, you also have other players like Spotify NPR. Of course, you have Gimlet Media and also Podcast One. So Charlemagne definitely has options, and he knows it. 2 months ago, Charlemagne did an interview where he was asked about his contract with iHeart. Drake fans and Charlemagne haters are now resurfacing this interview, celebrating and thinking that Charlemagne's run with the Breakfast Club is over, especially now that we're 2 weeks out from the end of the year and still no word from Charlemagne about his contract with iHeart.
So as you mentioned, Charlemagne, it was 2020 when you started it, and I believe it was a 5-year deal. So your renewal is coming up with iHeart. Do you plan to renew?
You know what's so interesting about 2020? That it was COVID, right? And so being that it was COVID, like everybody that I reached out to said yes to the Black Effect Podcast Network. And that's why we were able to launch with 20 plus, 20 plus different podcasts. But that's crazy you knew that.
I was gonna say, how do you know this?
Because when the press release says it was a 5-year deal, and the press release came out December 2020, and we're almost there.
Guys, Carrie can read.
Carrie can read.
That's amazing. You learned anything today? So I don't think you answered my question.
Yeah. We call that the weave, I learned.
The bob and weave.
Saw Donald Trump say that on Flagrant, the weave.
So we don't... She's Jolie, can you answer the question?
Can you repeat the question?
The question is, your deal with iHeart expires at the end of this year. Are you going to renew with iHeart?
Why not?
I don't like to talk business. It's not the place to talk business.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a lot of fun. We have a lot of time to decide that. So we'll let you know December 31st at 11:59 p.m.
See,
Good answer.
What you guys are kind of alluding, though, is that you're talking around. Like your options are...
I'm not alluding to nothing.
Okay.
I said I'm weaving.
Now you're doing the Dougie.
There are options outside of iHeart. It seems to be what we're hearing.
Now, everybody relax. Do we really think Charlemagne is not going to renew with iHeart? The man has been with iHeart for damn near 20 years. They've got a great partnership. Yes, he probably knows he could go somewhere else and get way more money that he's currently being paid right now. But I think Charlemagne likes being with iHeart. He likes working with the people there. Obviously, for them to partner with him on his podcast network, that means Charlemagne has the green light and unlimited budget for anything he wants. That's what makes it so difficult for me to see Charlemagne leaving iHeart for anywhere else. At this point in Charlemagne's career, I don't think money has an influence in anything he does. Right now, Charlemagne knows he's getting older, and for him, it's all about legacy. And let's keep it real. This is Charlemagne we're talking about here. The man loves the drama. The man loves the suspense. He knows the longer he waits to announce his contract renewal, everybody's going to be talking about it. It's going to be a big spectacle. Y'all remember last year when these guys were trying to sign Just Hilarious, and they had a whole promo run for Just Hilarious after people kept wondering, yo, is she going to sign with the Breakfast Club or not?
First, I want to talk about this Breakfast Club rollouts that you guys did. How you feeling?
Oh, I feel good.
Yeah. Do you like just because you don't get to toy with the media? You don't get to toy with
I do it all the time.
But not like this. This was like...
This is the first time I ever told people I told them toy with them.
Oh, you're saying all the other times you've enjoyed... But this was like beautiful.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, the hardest part about stuff like this is just getting everybody else to be patient. I was just like, well, we haven't acknowledged just announcing it, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We haven't acknowledged it. So why not continue to play stupid? And so I already knew that playing stupid would take a life of its own. Like I told that telling all the time, I told you, I said, listen, if we play stupid, it's going to take a life of its own. And then, I'm like, okay, after this week, it'll catch on. And, our digital team was like, should we put out clips? I'm like, no, let them find it on their own. So they found us playing stupid on their own.
What's the example? What's the first thing?
Me just acting like, yo, man, last year we was rotating guest hosts, and I thought we were supposed to start the new year with a new co-host. What happened, right? Knowing that, not acknowledging anything, not acknowledging Jess, not acknowledging.
Is she on the show at this point?
No.
So she's not even sitting in. It's just you and Envy?
She was always supposed to start February. She was literally always supposed to start February 5th. Literally. Like, that was Jessica Robin Moore's start date.
Did you start the play when she announced at like some show that she's...
I was on vacation in Zanzibar.
No, but I mean, was that the start of like, and then we're going to make it seem like they took it back or that they didn't agree?
No. That was real. That was real.
But that actually helped.
I thought it was great.
It helped.
It was great. It was like, yo, because it shows people, it shows you how much people care about being in that position. But I mean, the whole past 3 weeks of the rollout showed you how much people care about that particular position. And it shows you that Jess is absolutely the one.
And now, once again, Charlemagne is running the same exact play. And for some reason, people are still falling for it. It's very similar to the James Harden step back. You know it's coming, but for some reason, you can't stop it. And right on cue, Tasha K tweeted an hour ago saying, Charlemagne's contract ends on January 21st. A close source tells me they're not bringing him back, reportedly due to his shift in the political space. And we all know Tasha K is not the most credible source out there. But I bet you Charlemagne is now going to sit back until January 20th, 11:59 p.m. to officially announce his renewal with iHeart. Man is a sicko. He loves this stuff. He loves to see people with egg on their face, especially people that want to see him fail. I don't think there should be any worries or any panic about Charlemagne leaving iHeart. For all we know, they could still be in contract negotiations, and you obviously can't talk during the process. So let's see what happens within the next 3 weeks. You guys get in the comments below. Do you guys think Charlemagne renews his contract with iHeart, or does he go somewhere else as a free agent? Like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys later, man.
And the snow on top of that.
And ain't nobody checking on us. They see everything that's going on in New York radio, but ain't nobody checking to make sure we all right. Okay?
Man.
We don't know what's gonna happen next. The thing's tight out here in these streets, man. You see what's happening, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know if any licks about to be hit, man. I think everybody should just be happy to be making a living. That's what my mom always told me. My mom always said, you know, just be happy to be making a living. I'm just happy to be making a living. We don't know what this gonna look like after this week. That was a good run, guys.
Great run.
Why y'all acting like that?
That is
We ain't going nowhere, but it's a good run.
Well, Jess is already home, so she's halfway there. Someone said, do we know something that we don't? We don't know nothing. Nobody knows nothing. Nobody, what the Bible say? Nobody knows the day nor the hour.
Charlemagne gives a scary update about the future of the Breakfast Club. So on the Breakfast Club live stream, Charlemagne was talking about what may happen at the Breakfast Club. There's been rumors and innuendo being that his contract was rumored to end at 2025. Well, really not rumored. Everybody knows he made a big deal of announcing his contract in 2020 and was championing the Black Effect and all of that jazz. I think one thing we could do to see kind of where this contract negotiation may be going is to see how often Charlemagne is mentioning the Black Effect. How often is he pushing new podcasts? Because that might give some insight into where his mind is at. But in this live stream, Charlemagne was talking about, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to go on. We don't know what's going to go down. And he even makes an allusion off camera to somebody saying, oh, you might not be here. So maybe he's talking about just in general downsizing that's going on in the industry. And I foresee that even if Charlemagne survives, even if Envy survives, I don't know about folks like Lauren or Jess. I think they will. Maybe Lauren. But Jess, with the mess, maybe a little more stress is underway. And time will reveal that. But one thing that must be examined is how Charlemagne kind of forced Jess Hilarious into the position. And I think he did it because he wanted to utilize her and wanted to put her in a position because of his connection to her in terms of the Breakfast Club. And I think he ended up investing in some podcasters that maybe weren't as dynamic just because of the relationships that he wanted to see going. The reason Charlemagne was talking about this was because of what happened with Ebro in the mornings. Like, he doesn't mention it, but it's clear that that's what he's talking about. And there's also one thing that I think I have to address, and something that's looming behind all of this. Will Charlemagne return back to the Breakfast Club? And it's the radio ratings. Now, one thing I've always had to fight with people, and it's been something that I've been dealing with since this channel was started, is folks are always telling me, Danny, radio ratings do not matter. And I always say, how can you believe that? Radio ratings to a radio conglomerate matters the most. You guys, there's this belief that because the Breakfast Club does great YouTube views, that means they're a successful radio show. And they are a successful radio show because they've been able to persist on air for a really long time. But they've never been like the dominant ratings getter that Star was, that Wendy was. And I think that may be catching up with them. Like, let's look at the radios in New York City. Let's look at the radio ratings. So in New York City, for the last 4 months, August, September, October, November, Power 105's rating was, in November, it was a 3.1. Hot 97 was a 4.3. In October, Hot 97 was a 3.9. Power was a 3.3. In September, Hot 97 was a 3.2. Power was a 2.7. In August, Hot 97 was a 3.3 and iHeart was a 3.0. So as you can see, the gap is widening. And if I'm iHeart, I may be looking at Hot 97 as, because everybody looks at their competitors. So you mean to tell me that Power 105 is struggling to beat a station that is firing people? And I'm here shelling out all this cash, creating an infrastructure. The YouTube is basically an ad. And we can't even beat these guys in our city, in our own backyard. New York City is still big. There's 17 million people here. Outside of New York City, what you got is Atlanta and Los Angeles that are really big markets. All the other markets matter. I'm not trying to crap on any other cities. Trust me, that's not what I'm trying to do. I don't see any value in that. And I mean, let's be honest. If I were to look at the radio ratings of the Breakfast Club in other cities, you likely would be seeing that they get defeated. It's just that we don't talk about it because Charlemagne's able to reframe the way he wins these radio ratings by saying, oh, this certain age group I'm dominating. And it's all the ploy to make it seem like the Breakfast Club is more dominant than it is. I think what it was, I think Charlemagne's really talented. I believe he was a company man that was great at looking like a revolutionary. And I'm not stealing that take from Joe Budden. What I'm saying is that he knew how to push the envelope, but never ruffle the feathers of the people who ran the company. That's why, really, if you look at Charlemagne's radio career, there's been no big misstep at iHeart. The only time he has a misstep is when whatever he says about Jay-Z and Jay-Z makes him disappear. I think he said that. But at iHeart, he's basically been unassailable. He's never gotten close to being suspended. He's been carrying the company's water. Matter of fact, he makes it look like iHeart is the best place to work at ever, which has been a great benefit to iHeart. And he's done it all while being one of the greatest radio disc jockeys we have ever seen in this field and ever. He's going to be one of the greats we remember all time. We're going to put him up there with Star. We're going to put him up there with Wendy. That's just a fact. But when he gets compared to those people, one place he lacks is the ratings. He never really dominated. And to take it a step further, he never had a show that was named after him. And I think that was, he didn't bet on himself. He should be the lead of the Charlemagne in the Morning show. I don't know why he's doing this Breakfast Club thing. Could that be the future of his next deal? Instead of them doing the Breakfast Club, like, we getting rid of the Breakfast Club staff. Envy, I'm sorry. Jess, I'm sorry. Lauren, you can stay around maybe. It's going to be Charlemagne in the mornings because we just want to put all our money in Charlemagne. We're already losing to Hot 97. And Funk Flex is about to take over the morning show, even though he's saying he's doing one day. Don't believe that. So we need to get ready and we need to make some major changes because we're getting spanked in the ratings. And that's what he was talking about. He wasn't saying it, but that's what he was addressing in this little soliloquy that he did on the Charlemagne, well, not the Charlemagne, the Breakfast Club live stream. But let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a sign of things to come? Oh boy. I mean, a lot is going on, and I hope y'all paying attention because next January, we might be seeing the extension of a bloodbath. All right, follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. Follow me on Patreon. This is Danny from The Stop. Peace.
YouTube, chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, Chicks.
Salute to Chick Smooth. Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Hey, man, you guys know how it goes. When it rains or pours, Ebro is officially going through his own 20v1. After getting fired from Hot 97, every single day he wakes up, somebody else is on social media attacking him. From Drake to DJ Vlad to academics to older rappers, and now the worst enemy you could ever possibly have, 50 Cent. This man did so much damage to
And the snow on top of that.
And ain't nobody checking on us. They see everything that's going on in New York radio, but ain't nobody checking to make sure we all right. Okay?
Man.
We don't know what's gonna happen next. The thing's tight out here in these streets, man. You see what's happening, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know if any licks about to be hit, man. I think everybody should just be happy to be making a living. That's what my mom always told me. My mom always said, you know, just be happy to be making a living.
Why do you think everybody did this? What there's something going on, man.
What do you mean everybody? You mean the 4 people we just named?
Those represents like hundreds of podcasts, Joe. That's like a lot of people, man.
All right, I want to be careful not to give you too much you can clip up. I do know where I am, and I respect the space. Respectfully, those 4 that we named are the opinions that matter. I don't, how everybody else feels, all of the hundreds of people, that's cool, but they don't have a say. They could,
what you mean now?
Yeah, they just, they're not, you know, and I'm saying that respectfully because it's a big move. Congratulations to all parties involved. I said something on the pod, they called me hating. If you think I'm hating, you don't understand what my messaging has been from day one. So, but this is awesome. This is a day to be fucking celebrated. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, why is it seems counterintuitive for you because it doesn't seem like something you would say. It's a day to be celebrated where a bunch of creators are essentially letting a big corporation make their decisions of where their content goes.
Well, no, it's twofold. On one hand, this is like when Spotify came in and spent all the money on podcasting. You're happy that one of the big Titanic ships, somebody with all of the bread, sees a value proposition in podcasting. That's a positive. On the flip side, it also clears the way for independent owners to be able to have open conversations with anybody about anything. Just a few pods ago, I was like, just move out the way. Like, it's too much talking and not enough decision makers. Just move. It's too much clutter. Now the road is clearer, if you understand what I'm saying.
Do you think you were a little too hard on Ebro?
No, I said Ebro has my support. Ebro's my OG. I absolutely love him. But I mean, there's something to be said about trusting the universe. So I would have took the break. I don't think that's tough to say.
Yeah. I just, what happens to all of them? Like, what happens to the value of those podcasts that Netflix don't even want? It's pretty interesting to me. I think there's a ton of pods that I'm sure Netflix would even consider having on Netflix.
I certainly can't speak for Netflix. Remains to be seen, but good question.
Because that was my interest. Is like Lauren LaRosa has a show, Just Hilarious has a show, Mandy.
Yeah, but you got to know when the quantity game is being played, right? I say all the time that you only need The Office, Friends, and who cares what's underneath? You can put anything underneath. It's only the big shows that are doing the dictating. Everybody else is just cluttered, moving with the crowd.
Well, Friends is leaving Netflix. Did you know that?
I didn't, but thanks.
It is.
Yeah, and Netflix in turn has made a tons of show like Friends.
Well, no, what I'm saying is back when The Office was on Netflix and back when they were paying for the rights to the huge shows and then they lost most of them. when everybody else bit the flow and came out with apps and wanted the rights to shit. But they use those shows for what they needed to use them for as a vehicle, is all I'm saying.
What are they using podcasting for?
Well, that's a good question.
Joe, you know. Stop acting like you don't know anything. You know.
Well, part of why I enjoy you and Danny is you both have inquisitive minds and great questions. I like how you guys get to things. You guys do a great job.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm not concerned because I don't want to act like I'm like losing sleep. I'm just wondering about what is Netflix trying to do with all this? Like,
yes,
I don't know how long these deals are. I don't know if they're gonna find out. Oh, look, we could create our own version of the Breakfast Club. We don't have to have iHeart. And then they find fucking DC Young Fly, Reggie from the Need to Know, and just create. Like, we got the new Breakfast Club, guys.
No, not those two though.
I'm just saying, like anybody. Yeah. So, I guess, Joe, how do you feel about now? Maybe with the Breakfast Club going to Netflix only, you might be the biggest person in terms of podcasts now in this space on YouTube. Breakfast Club is probably going to go to YouTube only.
And congratulations to them for that. It's a big opportunity to be able to, we talking from a business point, but just as a fan, if that's your favorite podcast and you turn on Netflix and watch it, I think that's awesome. So congrats. I won't answer you in terms of being the biggest because you know how I feel already.
You feel like you're the biggest, but I just think in terms of just the factual YouTube ecosystem,
you about to give me some iHeart stuff. You about to tell me some iHeart stuff.
But iHeart is taking themselves.
It's never
out.
Joe Budden versus the Breakfast Club. It's never Joe Budden versus whatever podcaster you think it is. It's me versus the company. Yes, it's the company.
But this shit is like when Howard Stern went to satellite and all the other morning shows got a boost. It's like, you don't see it that way?
Nah, no.
Okay. The views got to go somewhere else. And a lot of people are going to wake up in January and be like, where the fuck is the Breakfast Club? I ain't watching this shit on Netflix.
They don't have to go nowhere. YouTube could figure out a different way to stifle or continue to stifle views without those podcasts. They just announced the Oscars in 2029. We don't know what YouTube's response will be. But if you want to watch somebody, you watch what YouTube's going to do. Yeah. So again, another interesting point about you, right? Let's see if numbers get to booming.
And they did this to Rogan. When Rogan left, they were ready. You don't like? Oh, Rogan left. Here's Andrew Schultz. You might like him.
Joe, do you remember when people were saying that you weren't a good businessman? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Some people still say it.
Not many though.
Well, it's tougher to argue now than it was when Joe Budden walked away from 200 million. but I get it. I remember.
You don't know business. You're not a good businessman. 5 years later, look where you are.
Yeah, but with all due respect, I can't have that conversation the right way with company men.
No.
Yeah. I feel like I have a great, I'm talking to Joe about this now, and I'm going to talk to Adam about this. Because it was kind of cool to see where both
this is super exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah, because Adam himself also has a bunch of content that Netflix probably ain't going to want on, but he has a big part to see what's happening right now. I know you're not the biggest fan of his content, but it is a discussion.
Does Adam still have that show with
Whack
100?
Yeah, I think it's the one that garners the most attention nowadays from that.
Yeah, I like that show. I'm gonna lie, I do like it. Because Whack is just too much, but it's a good show.
He's dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you want to be on Netflix, Joe? Were you looking, or is this deal you got with Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, like kind of you like being the wrinkle and being different today?
Well, we kind of have always been different. This was the same Spotify fight, but I'm not going to toot my own horn right now. What was your question? I know your question. No, listen. My fight is and has always been to be able to speak to anybody at any time if about my product, if you believe in the work, if you put in the work in. That's always been the fight. Is to take out the middleman and be a part of these high-level conversations that have to do with all the true power that podcasters have.
But this Netflix deal is the glorification of the middleman. So that's why it is.
That's not true. I think Netflix had very direct conversations with the 4 people we spoke about.
Come on, now you're being tricky. Tricky words.
No, I'm not. We said Spotify, the volume, iHeart, and fucking who else did we say?
Charlemagne, Bill Simmons.
All right,
Big Cat.
I don't know what you're doing. You're trying to be messy.
I'm saying like they're talking to the big power players, like the actual companies.
They're talking to the power players at the companies, not your favorite media people who have cool voices.
We got them. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
All right, you try.
Come on, man. What do you mean? But I get that's what I mean is you say in one breath that this is the elimination or whatever you said about middleman, because I know I got to say the exact thing in order for you to not be wiggle your way. But this deal is the middleman.
I'm speaking as I'm speaking as an owner. That's where our lines are blurry.
Got it. But when they talk to
and
you,
I'm speaking about owners.
But when Netflix talks to you, they talk to you.
When anybody talks to me, they're talking to me. Yes, they're speaking directly to Ian and myself. Yes, that's
the big difference.
You can bet on that.
That's not necessarily the case for everyone else. Okay.
I will say, this just from a quick little Wikipedia search, it does say the owner of the volume is iHeartMedia. So.
Yeah, I never understood. I'll tell you, I would say this to Rory. I never understood why he's so desperate to not appear like he's signed to iHeart. I might know why, but
why?
Because
BRB.
He took this stance against iHeart and how problematic it was for creators, but then he essentially signs with iHeart. Anyway.
Like I think it's kind of obvious that Netflix is discussing with essentially like the Fox folks at iHeart, like that, not necessarily the people down there. They talking to the people who upper management, the folks who really make the decisions. They're not talking to the creators.
They're talking to Tommy O'Malley or some shit.
Bob Pittman is the CEO over at iHeart, so that's who they're talking to.
Yeah, and I think everybody told me about how important like the YouTube views are in analyzing the Breakfast Club. I feel like they like, we don't give a fuck about the Netflix have their shit.
They just trying to hoard content right now.
Yeah, and then say we're battling YouTube. But all right, go ahead, Dub.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking. I was like on the pod. Joe was saying that he was gonna save his rant, and now he's on here talking about when they talk to him, when Netflix, whoever talks to anybody, they talk to him and Ian. So I'm like, I wonder like what type of deal they got, what type of control they got. Like, what's the difference between them and iHeart, or what's the difference between them and whoever else?
I mean, I would say that iHeart is a bigger like conglomerate because they're associated with like Fox and all that stuff. So it's like they're a bigger conglomerate. There's a lot more like assets that they have. Like, again, granted, Joe's did good for himself. It's just it pales in comparison to what like iHeart is bringing.
Is it a difference? I can talk directly to Joe because he owns it, and I don't have to talk to Charlemagne because he don't own it.
Yeah, basically,
That's one
I can get
difference.
Charlemagne, I can get the volume, I can get Rory, I can get all of these guys by talking to one person rather than just getting the Joe Budden podcast and what they bring.
Doug, say that question again.
Who's talking to me right now?
Memphis.
How you doing, Memphis?
Hey, say that question
No,
one more time, because I want to make sure when I respond to what you're saying.
Okay, now I was saying I was wondering like how is the deal structured basically?
All right, boom. So man, yeah, man. So I don't know. Maybe it's maybe Charlemagne's just trying to milk this out with this whole he ain't renewing the contract and shit with iHeart. I don't know, man. Who knows what's going on with the Breakfast Club? I don't know. We could have an update another time. But you hear Joe Budden basically saying it's all about this Netflix deal. Follow me on Kick, Twitch, Discord, IG, TikTok, Hype, Share, hit that notification bell. We gone.